This really interesting thing is happening. You can go on my Instagram and you can see it, this post that I put up and Twitter's response to it. So basically the pretext is that earlier today, if you've been following the hearings on election fraud, in Georgia, there was this really explosive piece of testimony that came out, which was this video, or piece of evidence, which was this video that came out of around 10 p.m. on election night. One of the people who were in charge of the polls, one of the ballot counting supervisors, basically told everyone in the room to go home around 10 p.m., that they were done, that they were finished until 8 a.m. the next day. There was media in the room. There were a couple Republican challengers. They were pushed against a wall, and everyone was asked to leave. So they waited. There were 4 people. They waited until everyone in the room cleared out, and when the room cleared out, they went and they got these suitcases from underneath a table with a cloth on it that were filled with ballots, and began scanning ballots for hours with no supervision, with nobody watching, with no oversight of any kind. And so this video was recently discovered, and it was shown today in the Georgia hearing. So, I commented on Twitter, not Instagram, but on Twitter, I went and I made this post where I said, well, I'll just go to Instagram. I said, I think I'll tell everyone to go home because we're done working until 8 a.m. Wait until everyone is left, then pull out my suitcases full of ballots from under a cloth table and start feverishly scanning for 2+ hours at 1 a.m. with my friends. I mean, what's weird about that? So I posted that on Twitter, and then I took a screenshot. And I took a screenshot and I posted it on Instagram, because anybody who knows me knows that I hate Instagram because I think it's the most stupid, pointless, mindless, idiotic social media app on the face of the earth. And if I could have nothing to do with it, I would, but I basically am forced to use it because of the work that I do. So, so the way that I make my peace with using Instagram is by just screenshotting tweets and putting them on my Instagram, and that's basically my involvement with Instagram. Anyways, so I post that tweet on Instagram, and then Instagram flags it with this message that says, missing context. The same information was reviewed by independent fact checkers in another post. Well, that's interesting. So I wondered, well, what context am I missing here? So I clicked on the link that it tells you to click on if you're missing that context, and it took me to this page, which says, missing context, more information, fact check. Video from Georgia does not, in all caps, show suitcases filled with ballots suspiciously pulled from under a table. Poll watchers were not, in all caps, not told to leave. So I still need to know more. I need to understand what this context is that I'm missing from this video that the world just found out about today. This video that, by the way, nobody's talking about. No one in the media. CNN is not talking about this. MSNBC is not talking about this. You can't find this. Nobody is talking about. Well, correction. One major news organization is talking about that, and that would be Lead Stories. Lead Stories. We've all heard of Lead Stories, haven't we? Well, Lead Stories has stepped up to do the fact-checking about this video. Now, mind you, this is a video that you can watch with your own eyes of the things that I just described happening. But Lead Story decided to do a piece on this, which now Instagram is using as their fact-checker. And I'm going to read to you right now because the print is probably a little bit small on the screen. So this is the story here, and if you want to read it for yourself, you can just go to my Instagram and find this post, click on it, and then be redirected to the fact-checking. The precious, precious fact-checking. All right, so here's the story. This is where I went horribly wrong. So the story is, does security camera video show a Fulton County, Georgia election supervisor suspiciously pulling suitcases filled with ballots from under a table after telling poll workers to leave the room? And did that election official continue to illegally count ballots without required monitors in a manner that calls into question Joe Biden's win over Donald Trump in Georgia? No, those claims are not true. 2 high-level officials with the Georgia Secretary of State's office, never named. They're never named. 2 high-level officials with the Georgia Secretary of State's office and a state election board monitor each told lead stories that their investigations revealed nothing suspicious in that video. The officials said the ballots seen in the video were regular ballot containers, not suitcases, and they had not been removed from their envelopes and processed while news media and election observers for the Republican Party and Trump campaign were present. The media and party observers were never told to leave because counting was over for the night, but they apparently followed workers who left once their job of opening envelopes was completed. The chief investigator for the Secretary of State told this to Lead Stories. The observers were free to return at any time, she said. Now, there were witnesses who were there who testified today. First of all, in the video, you actually see one of the supervisors of the ballot counters tell everyone to leave. You see it in the video. And then witnesses who were there who tried to get back in when they had heard, they said they were told that these people were counting ballots with no supervision after they told everyone to go home. They tried to get back in, and security was like they had to go through hell to get back in through security. So that's not even true according to the witnesses, but according to Lead Stories. The chief investigator told Lead Stories, the observers were free to return at any time, she said. Georgia law allows observers, but does not require them to be there for ballots to be counted, she said. I don't think that's true. The claims made at a Georgia State Senate hearing by a Trump lawyer, appeared in a video posted on YouTube by, in all caps, Trump's campaign, titled "Video from Georgia Shows Suitcases, blah, blah, blah." So, Lead Stories has the scoop on this, that the entire thing is a lie. That video that you saw, that video of the ballot supervisor in Georgia telling everyone to leave, telling the media to leave, telling the Republicans to leave, pulling suitcases out from under a cloth table and scanning them in the middle of the night with 4 people with no supervision, no one around after they told everyone to leave and that they were done until 8 a.m. Don't believe that. That didn't happen. You're crazy. There's something wrong with you. Just listen to Lead Stories. They'll tell you. Listen to Instagram. Instagram is using Lead Stories to fact check my post because I'm crazy. Obviously, I'm crazy for believing what I saw in that video. I mean, if you can't believe 2 high-level officials with the Georgia Secretary of State's office who were unnamed, who spoke to Lead Stories and gave them their testimony, I mean, who the fuck can you believe?